and Luke have been pouring over it. Julie, I know you've had a few more minutes here to give it an in-depth look. What are you seeing?
Let me tell you, well, nothing really changed. Luke and I were just discussing that the winds are still 150 miles per hour. I think maybe a push alert was out that it weakened. It did not weaken. I don't want you to think that. We have winds at 150 miles per hour. It is a strong Category 4 hurricane. It is moving over the Bahamas as we speak. It is located 405 miles southeast of Miami. The gusts are at 185 miles per hour. Pressure 927 millibars. It's moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour and will continue on this path. So the outer bands of this system is really what has been causing a lot of rain, some very gusty winds for hours upon days for much of Hispaniola and over in the southeastern half of the Bahamas. That's what we've been dealing with. And you can see it on our visible satellite. Really impressive how you can see the outer bands from our radar already starting to affect parts of the Bahamas. And some of these showers about 163 miles away from Miami, some moisture is actually starting to kind of creep in to parts of Brandt and Miami-Dade, very far outer feeder bands wrapping around that center of Irma is starting to move into our local forecast. So keep that in mind. You might see some spotty showers this afternoon, but the bulk of the moisture, the rainfall, the tropical storm force winds and rain won't start to move in until tonight and tomorrow morning. So here's the new forecast cone. We are expecting the system to head towards the west-northwest as a Category 4 hurricane. The close-up cone is one thing I want to turn your attention to, because remember those earlier models that I was showing you that shifted more towards the west? Again, they could shift back in the next model run, and the next forecast path could shift back, but at least we do notice more of a westerly trend to this forecast cone. Regardless, I want to remind you that this system is so large and so powerful that with the system possibly making landfall by the middle and the upper Keys with winds of 150 miles per hour, the actual center of Hurricane Irma's wind field stretches out to 70 miles per hour, 70 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend out 185 miles. So with that said, that's why we're already in a hurricane warning, is because as the storm gets closer to us, we're already going to feel the effects of hurricane force winds in the next 36 hours. That's how quick it will be. Tropical storm force winds will start as early as tonight, 39 miles per hour and stronger. Hurricane force wind starts at 74 miles per hour. And this is what I was explaining. The reason that we're going to feel the effects of Irma before it even does get close to making landfall for us is because the wind field of the system. So say the center does make landfall over the central portions of the Keys. As you extend out 50 miles from that center, all of South Florida will be dealing with hurricane force winds. And unfortunately, it looks as though we will be on the worst side of the system if this does play out. Regardless of where the center does go, 185 miles out from the center, we are expecting tropical storm force winds. So as you heard me mention all morning long, while we're dealing with hurricane force winds come Sunday morning, you call your friends in Tampa, they'll be dealing with tropical storm force winds. That's how large this system is. How long are we going to be dealing with it? Well, hurricane force winds with this system is going to be 14 hours. This is going to be a long weekend for us here in South Florida. As we see tropical storm force winds starting by tonight and into tomorrow morning, that will continue for 39 hours, and stronger tropical storm force winds from 58 to 73 miles per hour will last 21 hours. It will be a very rough weekend for us. Windy, damaging winds, destructive winds. We're also going to deal with life-threatening storm surge. I'm going to toss it over to Luke Doris with more on that.
Yeah, Julie, you're talking about the winds. Of course, that's a huge threat with this storm. The other one is going to be the storm surge that comes with it. And at times and spots, this could be certainly devastating storm surge inundation as far as flooding goes from this hurricane as it moves in. And something to note here is while the winds have diminished just a bit, and it's now a Category 4 versus Category 5, we've been talking about how the storm surge has actually gone up from this, the potential storm surge. As the wind field has expanded, there's more wind, there's more area to push on the sea surface and pile up those waves and get a bigger and broader storm surge. Let's start out. I wanted to go on a quick little tour and show you some zoomed in areas of where the storm surge is going to go and how much you can expect where you are. Now you see the colors on here. The red, of course, indicating the highest. That's in spots of southwestern parts of the peninsula from sections of mainland Monroe and Collier County, but we also have some of that in southeast Miami-Dade. So we looked at Fort Lauderdale earlier. Now let's spend a little bit of time on Miami-Dade County, as it's going to be a bigger threat as far as storm surge goes through Miami-Dade by and large than in Broward County. So I'm going to start up here to the north side of the county, and we're going to work our way down together, and you can get an idea of what you can expect if you are on or near some of these areas. The blue indicates 1 to 3 feet of storm surge possible. And what that means is above ground level, not sea level, above ground level. That's how much flooding there would be. That's how much could be in your house. Also, the yellow is 3 to 6 feet. And this is what we see at the northern side of Miami-Dade. And look how it goes along and even at times possibly west of Federal Highway. So Aventura, Hallandale Beach, and extend toward North Miami Beach as well, working our way down a little bit more, North Miami, and you can see Surfside as we start to get into parts of Miami Beach, North Bay Village, all in that yellow, that 3 to 6 feet of possible storm surge. Along with that, we see Miami Shores extending there all the way back possibly toward 95, and even further to the west. We have to keep in mind that our canals, our cuts, they're going to flood and inundate as well. And continuing our trek southward, you can see Miami Beach, of course, prone to flooding, and 3 to 6 feet of above ground level storm surge possible through most of Miami Beach, a couple pockets of 1 to 3 in this. And what this is this is a possibility. This isn't necessarily what's going to happen. This is what the city officials, the emergency managers have looked at. The National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center have run a bunch of simulations on what could possibly happen with storm surge. It all depends on where the eye ultimately ends up going, the angle of approach, and some other factors. But this is the possibility. This is what you need to prepare for. Prepare for this. Okay, running down a little bit further south and west, look at how far west along the Miami River where we could see inundating flooding. And along with this, you would have the waves, of course, to the debris that would be within some of these inundated areas, boats that have broken free from their mooring. So along the Miami River, we could have 3 to 6 feet of possible storm surge, and extending all the way back into Miami Springs. Look at that as we go along River Drive. 1 to 3 is not uncommon at all. Okay, going down toward Little Havana, downtown, kind of the same story of 3 to 6 feet possible. And then look at it pick up as we work our way southward. You can see areas of 6 to 9 feet of possible storm surge working their way in. Coral Gables as well. We go down towards Sunset Place, Coral Terrace, and that's south of Highway 41. And you're going to start to see some more reds as we go further south as well. And you're also going to see the inundation work its way deeper inland. This would be your 6 to 9 feet of possible storm surge. Okay, I hear that we're going to be going with the National Hurricane Center. It sounds like we have them on the line. All right, Dr. Brennan, you're with us. All right, very good, sir. Thank you for being here with us.
Sure.
So we noticed a little bit of a change in the cone again. I know, I'm not trying to get our hopes up at all because we know that these things are happening, and we talked to you earlier about how we saw a shift in the models pushing a little bit more towards the west. We noticed the icon moved a little bit more towards the west. Unfortunately, it does not put us in an even worse condition than what we would have been in if the center would have been more east.
Well, yeah, if the center is moving to your west, you're going to be in that right front quadrant of the storm, which is typically where you see the strongest winds and typically where you see the strongest onshore flow out ahead of the center that's going to really pile the water up along the coastline and create that dangerous storm surge that you were just talking about along the Broward and Miami-Dade County coastline and on down into the Keys. So, yeah, just because we nudged the track forecast a little farther west, again, our average track forecast area out of 2 days is about 80 or 90 miles, so the storm could easily move a little to the right of our track, a little to the left. And again, these major hurricanes like to wobble along, even though we draw a straight line when we make our track. And if one of those wobbles happens around the time of landfall or just after it moves inland, that could greatly affect who might see the core of those most damaging winds. So everybody in the hurricane warning area here in South Florida needs to prepare as if you're going to experience those Category 4 wind conditions from Irma when it does move across the southern part of the state.
Dr. Brennan, we've been talking a lot about storm surge and how big of an impact that this is going to have. Of course, we're talking a lot about winds, but with storm surge, can you give our viewers an idea of what that might look like, the kind of issues that that's going to bring, and also maybe a little bit of about above ground versus above sea level and what that could mean?
Yeah, when we're talking about storm surge here, first of all, everywhere in dark pink here is included in the storm surge warning, which means there's the likelihood of life-threatening flooding from storm surge in the next 36 hours. So that includes areas along the immediate coastline in Broward County, and then moves farther inland here in Miami-Dade County, and especially in South Miami-Dade along the west coast of Biscayne Bay. That's a especially sensitive area to storm surge. It can penetrate quite far inland, so not just an immediate coastal threat, and then also into the Keys. And so when we're talking about storm surge, we're talking about how high the water could be above ground level where you are. So if you're along the coast here, you could see water as high as 5 to 10 feet above ground level everywhere in the storm surge warning in South Florida and the Florida Keys. So that's water that's almost as tall as I am, all the way up to 10 feet, which is 4 feet taller than I am. So that's life-threatening surge. You could drown in it if you were caught in that. That's water in your house, water in the streets. And if you're in an area that's been asked to evacuate, you should follow that advice, because you say even if you're in a high-rise, say in downtown Miami or Miami Beach, and you're going to be out of the water threat, but if something happens to you, if you need medical attention, or you're going to essentially be stranded potentially in that area, you're going to be surrounded by water, nobody's going to be able to get you, you're not going to be able to get in or out, possibly for several hours or several days until the storm passes and that water begins to recede. So that's why that evacuation orders that you're given from your local officials should be heeded.
And you know, Dr. Brennan, we have been told, we have reporters spread out all across South Florida, that most of the evacuation zones that you've highlighted, people are evacuated, and a lot of the places, the shelters are at capacity, they're maxed out. So what would you suggest somebody to do if they went to their local shelter and they're maxed out, but they need shelter?
You should try to find a friend or relative that lives outside of a storm surge evacuation area. Try to stay with them, and then if there are no shelters left, you should try to contact your local officials in your county or city and try to get their assistance to find a place where you might be able to ride out the storm. And it's really important that people find where they're going to ride out the storm today. Today is the last day to finish preparations. We're going to see those tropical storm force winds arrive in the Florida Keys during the day on Saturday and late in the day here in mainland South Florida. So by tonight or early tomorrow morning, you're going to want to be settled in where you're going to ride out the storm, because conditions are going to deteriorate as we go through the day tomorrow.
Dr. Brennan, one more thing. Are we going to be able to handle the capacity of winds? Everybody's asking me, can their homes hold up to 120 mile per hour winds, 160?
Well, everybody's home is going to be different. You know, if you live in a manufactured home or something and you have substandard housing that's been asked to evacuate from, you should heed that warning. Otherwise, if you put your shutters up, protect your home from the wind, hopefully you'll be safe to ride the storm out there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.